What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing, man? How's everybody feeling, man? Um, it's been a very, very interesting week, to say the least. Very, very interesting. My, m- me I myself have been going through a lot of transformation, a lot of upgrades, a lot of activations, and it's been very interesting, to say the least. I've had a lot of opportunity to rest, to rejuvenate, to reflect, um, and realizing that a lot of different things that have been chapters and just things have been closing out in my life. And I'm realizing that, even though I've known that everything is happening for me and by me, in certain circumstances and situations and moments, of course, my ego gets into it and, we'll just be like, oh, that's messed up. Like this person just, you know, blew up some spot and then just disappears. And yet I realize that I have to come back to my heart. I have to come back and realize that it's happening for me and by me. But at the same time, today was a very big reflection, a very big moment of just clarity that, some situations, some friendships, some relationships, some just, whatever it is, like I said, like a career, a place you live, um, it's getting to the point, like I've said this in many different videos, as to things are very unknown. And not only that, but like things get blocked from us that are not serving our highest good any longer. And someone had mentioned to me something about someone being blocked if they're too much of a distraction. I'm going to say it like that because I don't want to, it's somebody else's business. And, you know, I don't want to be gossiping for that matter. So I just leave it there, there's many different times in the last several years that happened to me. And I described it as, you know, two magnets opposite, and you're trying to like force them together and you can't, but you can when you turn them the other way. They stick together, but then when you flip them around, it's like no force possible can, when you try to do it, it's like this. They jump all over the place. If you've ever tried that before, and if you haven't tried, that's what a lot of different relationships that I've experienced have happened, where it felt like no matter what you did or tried to do, it just nothing was coming into alignment. You couldn't, every time you wanted to call, it just didn't feel right. Every time you tried to something, maybe you just forgot you were going to do it, and then something happened or came up and then it didn't happen. So it's like every single time you try to, I guess you could say, make it happen or force it, it just didn't happen. And that is what they call the universe blocking different situations, individuals, experiences. Like I said, maybe you are in a situation where you are being forced to move somewhere. Maybe no matter what you try to do, you try to contact this family member or friend or romantic um, uh, situation, and it just never, like, they don't answer. Or you wanted to do it, but then somebody else called you, and then you got distracted by that other caller, and then you forgot that you were even going to call this individual. Like, you see where I'm going with this? It's like, if someone is not in alignment with where you're headed and what you're doing and for your highest good, then the universe can step in and will step in, and your guides and angels will block you from that making that connection. Um, Sometimes, if you're in your head and not in your heart, it can feel really tragic, and you can and will potentially feel heartbroken. But if you can zoom out and see it from a higher perspective and see that, well, everything's happening for me and by me, again, that doesn't negate the fact that you have feelings and emotions as a human being, a spiritual being living a human experience. But at the same time, if you can kind of see every experience and situation as an experience, and that people will be removed and people won't. And the days of like, oh, I've had this friendship for like my entire life from childhood, um, and you can let go of that expectation, um, and just let it be what it is and let the cards fall where they may. It won't be as challenging or difficult to um, go through whatever you're going through as, but that's not going to negate the fact that you may feel sad that you know the relationship came to an end, and it could have came to an end through the universe even dismantling it through um, a conflict of some sort. There's many different ways and many different things that happen to essentially uh, end something that needed to be ended, that maybe you weren't taking it upon yourself to do it yourself. Then your higher self in the universe steps in and, um, you know, dismantles whatever it is for you. And I always say that on every video, not every video, but a lot of videos that I talk about this kind of topic. I definitely try to encourage every single person to take it upon themselves to do it, not wait till the universe does it for you or your higher self has to step in and do it for you. You definitely know what feels good and what feels right. I was watching this live, and it was like some four-person live, and one person was like laying in bed, and it was like they were up all night, and one was like laying in bed, and somebody said, well, why don't you say something? And they didn't really want to, and you could tell that they didn't really want to be there, but yet they were forcing themselves to. For whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe they just felt like they needed to be online and live. And so even though everybody else was like doing the talking and they were just laying in bed, uh, it's things like that that we have to pay close attention to, because we're creating our own suffering when we're doing things that don't align, and we're forcing ourselves to do things that we don't necessarily want to do, and then you get off that call and you have resentment and just anger and sadness and frustration, but more importantly, anger, because you didn't just leave when you felt called to leave. You just stayed because you felt like you had to, because maybe it was a people pleasing tendency to the audience that you have or the people that you were doing the live with, versus saying, yeah, you know what, I just don't feel up to wanting to do this live, and that's okay. And maybe next time, guys, and that's it. And be real and honest with others, because then you're being real and honest with yourself. If you don't, if you're not real and honest with others, you're not real and honest with yourself. So that could be, like I said, a relationship, a family dynamic, a job, a career, a live that you're potentially doing with a group of people. You know, so yeah, I feel very strongly that as we continue to go forward, the vulnerability aspect is going to be really prevalent, and we're going to have to be very vulnerable and speak our truth and be authentic and say, hey, I don't want to do this. This doesn't vibe with me. This doesn't align with me. I'm not okay with this. Maybe you're like doing a bunch of different ventures with different people and are co-creating with different people, and something is not resonating anymore, and you just continue to do it just to do it. because you think that you're making the other person you're happy versus you have to make yourself happy first. So let it go. If you feel that it's not serving you any longer, and you know what it feels like. You know what it feels like if you don't want to go hang out with some friends that you're being encouraged to do so, or they're, peer pressuring you into doing so, and you don't want to do that because you don't align with what they want to do. So speak your truth, be your authentic self, man. There's nothing more important than to be vulnerable and to share from your heart and be real and authentic as to what does align with you and what doesn't. So with that being said, man, I love you all. Um, keep raising your frequency, keep your frequency and vibration high as often as you possibly can. It's important right now. And I want to make that clear, as often as you can, and that you notice. It's very important right now and vital as we continue to move forward in this awakening process, this ascension process. Um, so that's my tip for today. I'll give some tips on, I guess I'll throw some tips in. You can dance, you can sing, you can move your body. These are all ways to raise your frequency and your vibration. Paint, do something that you love to do that excites you, that raises your frequency and vibration. So I hope that helps with your journey. I hope that you're taking care of your needs and yourself at this time. I love you all. Please go check us out at www.darenandluna.com. We have so much offerings available each and every month. Follow us by submitting your email on our website, which will then give you the opportunity to receive a calendar and a newsletter for what we're doing each and every month. We're getting ready very soon to release the April calendar and newsletter, so be sure to sign up with your email address at our website at www.darenandluna.com. Take care of your body, drink water, eat live foods, nourishing foods. Take care of yourselves, y'all. It's important right now. Get rest. Do the things you love. Treat yourself kind. Love one another. And, with that being said, man, join us on Patreon. Join us on all social media platforms at Daren and Luna. And I hope to see you on the next live on some video on somewhere around the world. With that being said, man, take care of yourself and each other. From my heart to yours. I'll see you in the next video, in the next live, somewhere around the world. Until then, let's go.